We're finally getting some rain. Joining me back down on the River Ribble, and I'm doing what I said I was going to do the other day in the last video where I was trotting. I said I was going to come back here with some lobworms and try for some of the bigger coarse fish in this stretch. As you can see, folks, I've already got a rod out, I'm already fishing. I'm going to take you through my full setup for today's session. We've not got long, it's an afternoon session. It's probably about 4:30 now. So without further ado, let's get into the video and let's see if we can get a couple of fish landed before we start losing the light. I'm excited, let's get into it. As you can see, we've had a little bit of rain this afternoon. All the ground's damp and moist, and I wish I could describe the smell to you. It's a mixture of that rain smell and wild garlic. Absolutely beautiful. Just smells like nature. The amount of egrets that I've seen walking down this stretch. There's another flying off down river, not far now, and we'll be at the spot that I want to start fishing. Then we just need to get the rod set up and hopefully get a couple of fish on the bank before it gets dark. Just disturbed another 2 egrets. That's 6 just on this little walk. I want to have my ledger or feeder just at the edge of where the flow starts to slow down there. That's a fair old walk, that, folks, for a few hours fishing. First thing I'm going to do is take this coat off because I am sweating. That temperature's dropped massively, which I think will help us actually. So let's get this bank stick set up. So I've still actually got some bait mixed up from last night's session, but I've got some ground bait there if I need it. I've got some more hemp if I need it, but let's stir this ground bait up. It's absolutely perfect and good to go. Plenty of maggots in there. I don't know whether to start off on maggots or start off on lobworm. I think it's going to be a go big or go home situation today, folks. So I think what I'm going to do is put a size 8 or a size 6 hook on and start off on lobworm. It's spitting again. It is due some rain. Get the Westin 4-meter net out in case I need that. Nice and shallow down there in the margin. I've not got my waders on today because it's been my plan to fish ledger. So let's put this somewhere where I'm not going to step on it because I've got a habit of doing that, as you all know. And I'm going to decide which tip I'm going to use on my rod today. So there's my seat. Let's clip that to my bag so it doesn't go anywhere. So, as I said to you in the first video of the River Explorer series, this is the setup that I'm going to be going with. So, it's a Sonic Extractor Specialist twin tip, and you get a full hard tip with it, like this. So, that's a 2-pound test curve hard tip. And then you get 3 quiver tips. You get a 4-ounce, 5-ounce and 6-ounce. I'm going to be going with the 4-ounce today because I still want that sensitivity. It's actually got... Wow, it's actually got a lovely sensitive tip. Now I am going to be targeting coarse fish today. I just want to make that clear. The wildlife on this stretch is crazy. I think that might have been a sandpiper. Not 100%, it was flying pretty quick. So that's the setup we're going to be using. I'm going to go with a 4-ounce tip today. And the reel, as I've said, this is my own brand of reel. I'm not selling it to you folks. I don't care whether you go and buy it. It's just what I've purred with this rod, and it's a beautiful purring with any kind of method feeder rod or any kind of feeder rod. And today I've got this loaded with 12-pound line, 12-pound mono. So let's get the quiver tip on. And this is a 10-foot rod, and it obviously collapses down into the rod butt like a lot of the rods do these days, which makes it perfect for this tiny little children's quiver that I've got. But I tell you what, it's awesome for roving. That it's really padded as well. I think I got it from Argos with a Matt Hayes set about God, I don't know, 15 years ago, something like that. That was a big fish, that, folks. Whether that was a big chub, whether it was a trout, whether it was a salmon. I think I'm going to have to up the pound of my hook length just in case we do happen to hook anything like that. I think I'm going to go with a 10-pound hook length today. And yes, I'm taking you through the full setup in today's video because people find it helpful, but if you don't want to listen to it, please feel free to skip this part. I'm just going to check that first 6 foot of line just for any damage, because it was quite snaggy where I was fishing last night. Seems okay. So I've got everything that I'm going to need in the top of this bag. First thing I'm going to do is take one of my Olympian Tackle modular bolt and run kits. So I'm going to need a sleeve. Just put them down here on the grass, try not to lose them. I'm going to need a run ring and a run ring sleeve as well. The bolt bead first, slide that up the line. Then we're going to thread our run ring on. We're going to attach our lead or feeder later. I think I might actually start off on a lead so I'm not putting too much feed in. Then I'm just going to snip that down, take some of the length off this bolt and run bead. You can use it in a heli setup as well, and for the heli setup this bead needs to be longer. When you're using it with a size 8 quick change swivel, it needs to be shorter. So that brings me on to the next part, which is getting the size 8 quick change swivel. The rain's starting up. I don't mind, it needs a bit of rain. Come on, bring it on. Proper Westies angling weather. Tie that on with a strong knot, cinch it down, test it. It's not going anywhere, that. Then all we need to do, tie our hook length up. I'm going to get one of my lob worms, big old lob. We'll start off with half a lob worm today. I'm going to take a handful of this ground bait and maggots, just throw some of that into the flow there. Just going to let that start taking it down just while we're carrying on getting set up here. So hook length, we'll call them roving case. This will do us. 10 pound might not sound very strong, but this stuff's really thick actually, so I'm going to go with about 2 foot to start with. Can always shorten that up. And I'm going to find a nice big size 6 feeder hook there. You'll have to excuse me if I sound a little bit husky today, folks. My vocal cords are playing up again. I'm hoping if I smash a lot of herbal tea, it's going to sort it out. I can't be losing my voice when it's coming into prime fishing season for me. Needs to be out making videos. I'm going to be directly hooking the worms. Next thing I'm going to need is my anti-tangle sleeve. I'm hoping that I don't get any rain in the mic either. I'm going to be soaking wet through by the end of tonight. I'll stick this on and then put my coat back on. Why do people not take the rubbish with them? Willie's worms as well, that's not good advertising, is it? Let's put it there. Next thing I'm going to do, tie a figure of 8 loop knot in this hook length material at about 2 foot. Because the flow is not very fast, I don't want it too long. I just want it enough to kick it away from the lead. Trim that off. Take the line with me. Put that on a quick change swivel. Slide that anti-tangle sleeve back down over the top. Slide everything back down. Push the size 8 swivel into the bolt and run kit so that it can still spin and stop itself tangling. I'm going to get some of my Lucky Garlic liquid out as well. So as I said, let's start off on a lead. Got 2 ounce lead there, but let's see if I can find something heavier, because it'll help with the self-hooking aspect of the rig. Find a 3 ounce. There we go, 3 ounce lead. Bit of a gripper style. So probably 10-15 minutes and we're ready to fish. I sometimes have all this set up before I even start fishing, folks. I have it set up in the bag ready to go. So next thing we're going to need is something to keep the worm on. I like to use a section of elastic band, so that's what we're going to do. We'll take a section of elastic band, doesn't need to be a big piece. Get our lob hose. Well, that's a massive lob worm. Let's go big or go home. Let's go half of that. And I hook these in a very specific way. Obviously splitting the lob worm helps release all the flavours as well. What I do, how I hook my worm, is I'll go through the worm, downwards, twist, through what they call the saddle of the worm, And then I'll put this little piece of band over, and it just stops that worm fighting its way off. So I'm going to pull everything back down so that the bolt and run kit is active. Let's just check the drag. Yeah, that'll take. I'm going to start it off. Check I'm not wrapped around anything. Just on the edge of that floor line there. On the back of it. Tighten down to that lead. So I see a drop back. I want to get soaked today, folks. Oh, this is going to be brutal. So with a chance of anything today, big perch, chub. I was hoping I might get a reasonably quick bite. So there's two spots that I want to try here. I want to try in this deep run down the middle, which I found the other day when I was trotting. And there's also another deep run over there near that fallen tree. However, that is very, very snaggy. I'm expecting to lose gear if I fish over there. I'm going in heavy, but what I'll do to save the blank a little bit later on, I'll probably swap to a lighter hook length, maybe like a 7-pound fluorocarbon, and a maggot hook of some variety, maybe like a size 14. My voice is going. We'll just try maggots on the hook, see if we can pick a couple of silvers out maybe. It's fish topping, and this low pressure will definitely bring anything on the feed that's in here. They just need to find that lobworm. Maybe I should get a cage feeder on and get some feed out there, maybe draw some fish in, because I don't know whether you can see it on the GoPro, but where the second river's coming in here, there's kind of like a bit of a divergence. I don't know whether that's a word or I've just made it up, but they both funnel in together here, and you get a little bit of a flow, and then the flow sort of like ends and then it goes flat and still. And obviously this oxygenated water, you'd like to think that there's going to be some fish around here, and that's what it's all about. That's what this River Explorer series is about, folks. It's about exploring, trying new stretches, bits and pieces. Now, I'm not going to advertise the specific spots where I'm fishing because that might upset some people, but if anybody wants to know, feel free to give us a follow on the WestysAngling Instagram or Facebook page. Send me a message directly. I'm not going to be able to get back to everybody, but the people I managed to get back to, if you ask me where I was on a specific video, I'll do my best to give you that information. It's not a problem, but I don't want to advertise it to the world and his wife, just because people are fussy about so many things when it comes to rivers. They'll ban rods at some point, you know what I mean? It's getting silly. It's getting to the point where you'll have to wade out naked and wrangle them with your hands, you know, to be able to fish these stretches. I don't think anybody wants to see that on the channel, do they? I mean, well, maybe they might, I don't know. Oh, it's weedy, folks. It's weedy. That's quite good though. Obviously I've landed on a patch of weed there, so it must be shallower in that spot. Okay, very weedy. Very, very weedy. But I don't know whether you saw that though. The rig was still tangle free. I might put a cage feeder on, you know, because sometimes the cage feeder can just collect some of that weed rather than it collecting on your hook length. Now, let's get some of this mixing. Again, this is just river blend ground bait, hemp and maggots. Can't be any simpler, but really quality mix. As I've said to you in the last video, I'm not sponsored by Sonic in any way, shape or form. I bought this with my own money, but I love this slim blank. Just makes it really nice to use. It's very portable as well. This worm's getting hammered, but small fish clearly. Obviously casting out with the hemp and ground bait, it's going to bring the smaller fish in, which in turn brings the bigger fish in theory. On a river like the Ribble, you've got a chance of anything really. I believe it's uncommon, but I think barbel do come out of this stretch. Chub definitely. Dace, big roach, might even get bream. It's quite a deep little stretch this. Big perch. It is very dominated with game fish, so have we got a chance of a perch? They don't tend to coexist very well, trout and perch. I think that worm's probably just been absolutely picked apart, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave that in a second. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll put my bait runner on in case anything bigger grabs it and decides to bugger off with it. I'm going to tie up a smaller hook, maybe a size 12 and a lighter hook length. Yeah, some 7-pound fluorocarbon there, and I'm going to take a size 12. And throughout the evening I'll just keep scaling down until we save the blank. That's that rig ready to go. I'll swap for that in a second, but this worm's going to be absolutely demolished. Yeah, we're even snagged. I don't think I'll have been snagged on rocks. Well folks, we're one feeder down. Well, rather than me losing another full rig and having to re-rig back up every time, I'm going to try something out. I'm going to try out one of my new breakaway C-clips. So you just clip it over the end of the metal part of the rung ring there, then your feeder goes over the other end of the C-clip, and then you pull the sleeve back over, and the sleeve obviously will keep that in place, but that'll break under 6 pounds of pressure, so that should break before anything else does. So let's go with 3 maggots. 1, 2, 3 maggots on the size 12. Yep, I got some. What have we got, folks? Dace? Dace, roach, I think dace. Put him back safely. Not too bad of a stamp. We'll catch those if we need to this evening. So if you're following the channel, you'll know that I am a bit of a specimen hunter at heart, but I will catch anything. I'm always hoping for the bigger fish, but I am happy to catch the smaller ones as well. Aren't we all just hoping for the bigger fish at some point though? Another dace. I'd love to see how far this Sonic Extractor Plus could wallop out a 5-ounce feeder with the heaviest tip on. We'll have to try that at some point, won't we? But we need to start easy and work our way up to it. So I'm going to have a couple more chucks. We'll get a couple more of these dace on the bank. I could probably catch these dace all night because they're hammering it straight away. I've had 4 so far. And then what we'll do is we'll try for something better. We'll put a worm on, you know, because on these river explorers we want to see everything that's in the swim. You know, bigger fish and smaller fish. The fish are definitely there and they're definitely feeding. Yeah, that's where I want to be. Nice hard bottom there as well. That's bedrock, that. Felt the lead hit down. You can see the bedrock going out actually. If we do hook a decent fish here, we'll have to get it up and over the bedrock. I'm sometimes quite conflicted about what to do. You know, do I sit there and quite comfortably catch dace all night? Or do I move spots and see if I can pick up something bigger? You know, the odd better fish. At the end of the day, rivers are fishing tough. We've just not had enough rain. We need some good thunderstorms, that's what we need. After those, when the river starts coming down again, after an influx of water, that's the time to get on the river, definitely. not when it's so far down. It's not impossible to catch, as you've seen, and I'm obviously spending a lot of time on the river at the moment because it's school holidays and the fisheries are absolutely rammed, so I can't go to fisheries and film comfortably anyway. So that's why we're out on the rivers until September anyway, and then it's game on for some method feeder fishing, folks. We'll get some carp landed while they're feeding up, ready for winter. Best time of the year. I love autumn for carp fishing, and I'm going to try and fit in a 24 hours or a 48 hours somewhere for cats as well. Need to get on the cats before it gets too cold. Not even tried from this year. It's just been such a really odd year for me for fishing. I've been trying for so many different things, and it's like that age-old saying, jack of all trades, master at none. You know, if you go for a specific thing and you work at it and you work at it and work at it, you'll get it. But when you're doing so many different things, the quality of the fish that you're catching tends not to be as good. But it's my goal to be one of the best all-round anglers out there, and with that comes trying all different types of fishing, slowly building up your knowledge of a particular type of fishing. And that's one of the things that I enjoy most about getting out on the bank and trying different things. It's a challenge. Sea fishing is the next one, folks. We'll do some coastal fishing at some point this year. Need to get myself a beach caster rod. I know you can do it on carp gear, but I like spending money, don't I? All gear, no idea. That's me. Right. I've not had any kind of indications down there in that deep valley. So I think I'm going to get back on the dace for an hour or so, and then I might have a move down the river before it gets too dark. I'll put a touch of my garlic liquid on them maggots. Connected with one. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's a better one. It's a much better one. I don't think I'm going to move this evening, folks. I think I'll just enjoy sitting here catching these dace, to be honest. Not saying that something else might not come in to investigate. Maybe I should put more feed out. Put a cage feeder on the next chuck. Well, now I know what was giving us those better bites. Little chublet. That's another species for tonight. Very, very simple but enjoyable fishing, this, folks. Might actually swap on to a dendrobina just to maybe single out some of those better chub if they're in the swim. Or now that I know that they're in the swim. These jagged bites are dace. The chub bites are completely different. They just slam the tip down. Got some old stinky dendras here. So I'm going to hook them the same way that I hook the lobworms, so that at least some of the hook point is exposed here. So in and round. And I'm still going to take a little bit of band just to keep it away from the hook point. Oh. And there's dogs in the swim, but they're miles away. It won't have any effect on where I'm fishing. Dendra's getting savaged already. I can't believe I just nailed that. What is it? Is it another chub? Oh, it's not, I don't think. That, folks, is a good dace on the Dendra. But you can see how the worms single out the better fish. I just basically left that until I got a really positive indication and then lifted into it. That wasn't far enough. I don't really know if there's any chance of a barbel, but I always live in hope. So tonight I've had about 20 dace, 2 chub. It's not bad for a few hours session, is it? Nothing of any size like, but does it matter, does it? Catching, that's the main thing. And obviously giving this rod a test out and this little setup. This flow has definitely quietened down since started fishing. I like this little setup here. I've got the rod put down here, right at my hand, ready to go. Ooh. What's this? It's taking line. Better fish, better fish. Is it a trout? What is it? Turn my drag down, keeps going on silly runs. That is, folks, a PB brown trout. Wow, obviously not the intended species, it's a bycatch, but that is a cracker. Let's get the unhooking mat, use it for what its intended purpose is. I've just wet my hands, folks. I want to keep the handling of this fish to a minimum. I've hooked it perfectly in the corner of the mouth. Tell you what, folks, if I wasn't a catch and release angler, this would be a nice one for the table. But what a beautiful fish. How could you kill that? I'm not going to weigh it, folks. I'm going to get it straight back. But I reckon that's 1.5 pound, 2 pound maybe at a push. Get some of this water over its gills. Let's kick him. PB Brownie, get in. I don't think you need me to tell you how chuffed I am with that catch. In the dying light on the River Ribble. What a beautiful fish. It was an old fish, that, as well. You can tell it was just about starting to develop that sort of like hooked jaw that they get when they start getting older and bigger. That'll be a beautiful fish, that, in a couple of years, but I'm strictly a catch and release angler. So it's gone. What a cracker. Bycatch while fishing for dace, chub, on the feeder as well. That's my first trout feeder fishing. Perfect, let's keep going. That trout went on some cracking little runs then, didn't it? What's this now? Is this another one? Oh, it's another. I don't know if it's quite as big as that last one. What a stunning fish that one is. I just need you to have a look at the colours on that. Well, that second trout was an absolute stunner The reds in that fish, it was just amazing. I need to tie a new hook length up, folks. That's all frayed and tangled from that last fish. Only take me 2 seconds. Better that than losing one. Right folks, we're back up and running there. Absolutely loving these manky old dendras. I'm hoping that they haven't moved out the swim in the time that it's taken me to tie up a new hook length. It shows you, if you fish long enough, other things will move into the swim. Obviously we were catching dace and chub, and now, for whatever reason, the trout seem to have moved in. But that last trout took it on the drop. I'm not really happy with where that feeder landed there. It's a bit too much into the flow. They seem to be out the flow in a little eddy. That's where I've been getting all these fish, and there's no weed there either. There's very little weed. The trout bites have just been absolutely ripping them around. Yeah, this feels like another silverfish. Small chub. I have brought my head torch with me, but I'm not going to fish into dark. I'm just going to fish until we start losing the light. What a cracking little session. Super chuffed. Can't argue with a PB, can you folks? Makes it worth the fuel and the day ticket and all the effort that goes into filming. I always find tipping the worm, when you were using dendras anyway, tipping the worm with a maggot is always better than using elastic band. Using elastic band is a very old school method, and it works great for lobworms that are a bit more powerful. A lobworm would just move a maggot out the way on the hook. Cracking little chub. They always go back like rockets, chub. I really haven't used much ground bait at all this evening. Maybe 250 grams ish, maybe 100 grams of hemp. We just need a bit more of that wet stuff, folks, and the fishing will improve into autumn. Last cast, folks. Start the drive back to Manchester. It's not too bad of a run. It's only about 40 minutes for me. 40, 45. As you can probably see from the video, it's starting to lose the light now, and I've probably only got another couple of casts worth of ground bait left. Surprisingly, nothing bigger has taken this lobworm that I've put on. I've had 3 casts on the lobworm, and so far I'm still getting little tugs from smaller fish. I was hoping a big monster, whatever's down there, might snaffle a lobworm in the dying light, but alas, it wasn't meant to be. Hey look, I can't complain. I've had an absolutely cracking session. I've really enjoyed it, and I just want to say, if you've enjoyed it, make sure you hit that subscribe button for me. That's all you need to do to support the channel, and so that I can carry on getting out here and making these videos for you. Who knows what we're going to catch next time, and who knows what we'll be doing, but we'll be out on the bank. I'll see you next time, folks. The River Ribble. Until next time.